Thank you. Great to see you as well, Heather.
Let's help us understand this, Dr. Bogoch. Number one, what is monkeypox?
And monkeypox is it's a viral infection, and it's endemic to parts of West Africa and Central Africa. When it is not infecting humans, it lives in rodents, and this is what we call a zoonotic infection, where it can jump from non-human animals into humans. And as you point out, there have been outbreaks in West and Central Africa. And once in a while, a case has been able to someone gets on a plane, flies somewhere distant, and there have been cases detected over the last few years, periodically in Europe or in the Americas or elsewhere around the world in Asia. And occasionally those result in onward transmission to a few other people. But what we're seeing now is a much larger outbreak than what normally happens when a case gets exported from Central or West Africa.
What are the symptoms of monkeypox?
So after someone's exposed to this virus, it usually has an incubation period of about 10 to 14 days, up to 21 days. And then people will feel a bit of a headache. They might have some muscle aches and pains. They might have some swollen lymph nodes. And then afterwards, a couple of days afterwards, you'll start to get those very distinct skin lesions. Some people say it's similar. You might hear words that it's similar to chickenpox. It is and it isn't. With chickenpox, when you see the skin lesions, those classic skin lesions emerge, they're of different ages. So some are erupting at the same time that others are receding and scabbing over. With monkeypox, it's similar to an infection that has been eradicated from planet Earth. It's similar to smallpox in that the lesions typically are all the same age. They'll usually erupt mostly at the same time, and they'll roughly be at the same level of development. And fortunately, the vast majority of people will recover from this and will do just fine. But there obviously can be people on the sicker end of the spectrum. Luckily, that's the minority of cases. And so far, to date, we haven't heard of any people impacted by this that have had a more severe illness. But of course, we know it can happen.
Okay, that's good to know. I was going to ask you that. So we know it's rare. We know it's by and large not serious, but it can be. The cases that we're tracking from what we're hearing, including the man in the States in Massachusetts, in hospital but recovering well. It makes me ask, so it's gone from, it seems, from animals to human. What we know about the cases in Montreal is these were cases reported by sexual transmitted infection clinics, awaiting final confirmation. But they were the clinics that flagged this, and it seems to be, and in cases in Europe as well, gay men, bisexual men, men who have sex with men. As far as transmission, what do we understand about how it's transmitted, and could there be a sexual transmission component to this?
Right. So this is very interesting as well. So we know, first of all, let's acknowledge that there's not a ton known about this. This is what we call a neglected tropical infection or a neglected tropical disease, in the sense that it's, along with many other infections that plague low-income countries, there's just not a ton of research on this. But there is some, and we do know something about this. Based on some of the outbreaks in the past and some of the studies, we know that people can get this by direct contact with some of the lesions, or direct contact with bodily fluids from infected people, from close contact with individuals, so being in close proximity for a prolonged period of time. And of course, there still are more distant contact, more distant infections. Those don't seem to be the majority, but that certainly can happen. When we talk about people getting this infection through sexual contact, what's really unknown is, was that just because of close and direct contact with the lesion, or was it actually sexually transmitted? Before we completely discard the sexual transmission, I think it's fair to acknowledge that, Ebola virus recently was found to be transmitted through semen. Zika virus as well was found to be transmitted through sexual means as well. So I think it's fair to keep an open mind on that mode of transmission, but it's based on what we know, close proximity is the main mode of transmission.
Okay. There's more online at cbcnews.ca in terms of treatment and prevention and things of that nature. Just one quick point on this before I ask one final question. I'm going to squeak in one. I noticed you've been, obviously people turn to you on these kinds of things when they're emerging. And one quote, you said, "Is this the new COVID?" You said no, emphatically. I mean, there's a lot of people going, "Oh, here we go again. Monkeypox, the new scourge." What do we need to keep in mind on this, Dr. Bogoch?
Yeah, while this is transmissible from person to person, it's not nearly as transmissible as some of the viral respiratory infections that we've seen. And certainly there will be more cases. There will be more cases uncovered, but this is not the same as COVID-19. What's really interesting is that the smallpox, it's very closely related to smallpox, and people over a certain age have been vaccinated for smallpox, and there's likely some very significant cross-protection of that vaccine, the smallpox vaccine, although that protection...
Are you tired of waiting in long lines? Are you tired of saying, oh snap, I forgot to top up at an inconvenient time? Here's what. Burn Team has got you and your loved ones covered. No hassle, no worries. You can get topped up at the snap of your fingertips with both Digicel and B-Mobile, anywhere and anytime. You can pay with cash or online. WhatsApp us at 346-8730, where it's safe, easy, and convenient.
Yes.
Here we go again. Oh, yeah, this monkey pot steak. I can't
But
take it.
at least they're saying that it's not like COVID.
Oh, jeez.
Right?
I know, people. It is start what we had in an Exodus. Big up Mr. Fletcher on the inside, man. Much love, much love. So there.
Evening.
So this is topic for tonight.
Evening.
All right. We're going to start from the left to the right.
Who come up with this?
This are real comments today. So this is the topic. I don't want to see the algorithm to pick up on it, right? Yeah. Oh.
What topic?
Hey boy. Chica?
I even know where to start.
Chica,
right, I know where to start. Hear what they're saying, right? For persons to be eligible to even adopt, you need to be financially stable,
right,
emotionally and mentally capable. You must have the physical space as well in order to adopt. You can't just say, well, I want to, take care of children who don't have parents and I want to create a home for them. You must have things in place in order to adopt children.
Right.
That is my answer. That is what I say.
So the topic for tonight, people, if you don't join us, is Burn Global ETG Limited, the Thick Set, Real Talk Live. And the topic at hand. Do you believe in same-sex adoption? Right, same-sex adoption. Chica has given me a politically correct answer there. Yeah. But do you believe in it? And I think Chica really give an answer. Yeah?
I give an answer.
Yeah. Please in the comment section if you think that it's okay to allow same-sex, male and male, to grow up and adopt a girl child or a boy child or any child for that matter. And is it okay for two mummies? So do you all believe in two mummies doing the job? Or do you believe in two daddies? What would your view be? Chica. It's a sensitive topic, boy.
Yeah, it is. It is a sensitive topic. I really didn't come up with my answer, but as I said, right, once it is what I can say, if it is the couple, they can provide what it is the child needs in terms of, emotional well-being, their education, whatever it is they need to grow into a responsible, respective adult. Once they are not placing their sexual beliefs upon that child or forcing that child to be, same sex as well.
But how can you not remember a child from in conception or being born, and then like up to 7, they are in beta. So they don't know anything. It's a blank slate. So they would mimic and pick up the environment in which they were placed. Most of us were pre-programmed. Your religion is not based on you deciding the religion. Your religion is based on the home you grew up in. It has nothing to do with all your belief systems and conceptualizations. If we were born in the Middle East, or if we were born in Dubai, we would have been Muslim because that's what we were born. Any person who is born into a family that has a particular belief system, structure, and socialization, that is what we are pre-programmed to adopt. Any Hindu would tell you that they were born in a Hindu home, unless they became old and decided the faith. But as between birth and 7 moving forward, technically, whatever home and environment you were born into, you would mimic and pick up some of the things. Not all, but most of it. Your belief structure as well. So now
No, it is true, because it's always go back to nature versus nurture. Remember, a child, the environment in which they grew up is what actually shapes them into their beliefs and so forth, until they are able and capable to actually make the decision on their own. So, going back to saying same sex, like 2 mommies, 2 daddies.
It will be normal
somewhere along the line, they will be shaped into that. They may not know and understand from young, but after a while, when they do come to understand, they will have some kind of shaping along those lines there.
Pika.
I will say that they will become more open then to different types of relationships that they can have, because it have boys and girls growing up in heterosexual homes, and they are still same sex. So in that case, persons who are adopted by same-sex couples, they will say they will be more open than to being in a same-sex relationship, or they will be more open. They may not necessarily choose that path unless they are told that they should, right? And would not go down the minority road, because we know in the minority certain things happen. Life is a structure in order to do so. That's what they are doing. So allowing them, yes, they are being allowed to. They are being allowed to. Not yet, because we still have the whole adoption process. So most likely they may not allow a same-sex, because it is illegal to even have a same-sex, well, I wouldn't say a relationship, but a
same-sex marriage. Most
marriage. And when they are at the environment might be
In some states, I think it's legal, and in some states it's not. Some countries, I mean, it's still taboo in some countries. But again, children are blank slates and they're very impressionable. And where it might have the odd case where you have a heterosexual family, most of the time the child comes into contact with that type of lifestyle. It's not like the child just chooses. They don't have a choice if they don't have a program. It's like you don't really have a choice. People think they have a choice when they're 7, they're like, wherever you're picking up in the atmosphere. So some person or adult got into that child's life and impacted that vibe onto them. You know what I mean? It's not like if we grow up
in some way or the other.
If we grow up children in the jungle, they'll behave like animals. It wouldn't be like I choose to be walking upright. Because everything around them will be on all fours. You don't know it's upright because they didn't have any vision seeing. You didn't see nobody walking upright. All the animals you will see crawling on all fours. So you will adopt the all fours scenario. You know what I mean? Again, it's an interesting scenario. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
But one thing that crossed my mind when I saw the topic, though, the same sex, mommy on mommy. Honestly, not to say, it has some sort of similarities to a mother and a grandmother raising a child. If you think about it, both females in the house, and then on top of it, if you place the age group, a young grandmother, a young mother raising one child. After a while, the mentality, similarities, likes, dislikes, whether the child is male or female, will carry the same as the mother and the grandmother. So it kind of similar in a sense, just take away the legality of marriage from it. That was something I actually saw.
And the sexual parts of it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we look at same sex, well, it's highly likely that we have patriarchal homes. You're more likely to find a home where women are the ones who really in charge of the household. But really finding a household where it's men who are, doing everything, it's hardly likely. That is actually in the minority. So it may not see it as okay that daddy and granddad, or that's when it comes to the woman, it will be kind of on the lighter side of things. But even with accepting same-sex relations on a whole, people accept women, but not the men. Well, women to an extent, right? Based on person's belief system. But the woman still kind of like gets away. The men, well, we know that people really ain't.
They're definitely not free men. They burn them down one time.
Yeah.
Because most stories that I've heard, men literally had to leave the country, go and get married in whatever state of the US, and then come back just to have that certificate to say, I am married, or my partner and I are married.
Yeah. So it is it's really an interesting topic. I know how this guy to the top there came up with this
topic for tonight. Should same-sex couples be allowed to adopt? Please in the comment section below if you think ready, however you feel where's your vibration. Because it's something that's going to come up. Notice that all the liberals and the feminists and all these people, just as how they want the marriage, they want the family, and it's going to be an issue. So, what would the public say? I mean, because why? Most of the time, we have a pre-programmed vibration because it will be from a religious. Most of the time, you're going to hear people talking about this. This scenario is going to be from a religious perspective. You think that?
Well, once it's coming from a religious perspective, once it's that way, we know it's not going to happen. And that's why in some states, as Sonali mentioned, some persons may leave where they live, go into another state to get married, and then go back. But I still even think going back, it still wouldn't be accepted so much, right? Because it's not legal in that state. But if it is legal in a state for same-sex couples to get married or have relations, they will allow for them to adopt, actually. It won't have a problem in that particular state once they can provide. Yeah, because they are adults and they need to be an adult to adopt. Whether you're adopting a baby, a teenager, or whatever stage they are in life, because they know adoption is not only the babies, right? Some people adopt older children, right? So even that too. I think what it is, the main thing, person's question is what influence they will have upon that child, no matter the age, right? And when it is putting a child, even an older child, what they will do too is make sure that the connection is there. They won't just place the child in the home. It's have a lot of investigation, a lot of meetings to see that they can bond with this child, and if the child will feel comfortable with that couple, you know. So it have a lot that goes into the whole adoption process. Good evening, Miss Shamil.
Miss Shamil, tell me if you agree with same-sex couples adopting children. Oh, this is interesting.
Lion, what are your views?
My view?
Yeah.
I would always utilize. I mean, my view is not the view of BTG Limited, and my view is my personal view. So I suppose it's already between that. I believe it take a collective amount of persons to raise a child. So even in adopting the child, I mean, even if you see sex or not, you have to understand that you must have some kind of male figure in the child's life.
True.
Right? So even though you have your
male
own
or female?
Yeah, male, if it's female, you must have that balance. And I don't think it would be adequate enough because the universal principle is that it have a male and a female. That's how procreation comes in the first place. And you taking the stand, which is your prerogative, to deal with a relationship that does not have procreation in its, intent. I mean, then raising, you would have to either have a surrogate male or female in order to have that. There will be three people. Right, because what your relationship is based on is same sex, and what procreation is based on is opposite sex. And you would want to foster that in the child's upbringing. So you have to have a surrogate, whether it be a male surrogate, and when we say surrogate, like in the parenting aspect.
Oh, okay.
Right, and that's a surrogate in the parenting aspect to add balance to that child's development, because then the child would have a biased view of what it is, you know what I mean? And because you will have it's a sexual scenario and a personal choice, and to have that choice in the home, it should have either a male surrogate co-parenting or a female surrogate co-parenting. Even if they allow you to do that, which the way these governments are the world going.
Well, actually, no. Most women may allow a surrogate. You can remember the story about a year or two right before COVID. The lesbian couples that asked one of their friends to provide sperm, and they asked him to surrogate as a father.
Yeah, but in the writing of these legislation, it should have that. Not saying it had it in a moment, but if they're going to do that, it should have that within the parameters of getting selected to have a child in the scenario. And that's a real matter. But
that's no longer, in that case with men donating their sperm.
No, well, that's
different. Will no longer be adoption. Yeah. That will be a little bit different.
No, I know, but I meant like in that terms of where same-sex actually have a child and the parenting, they actually ask the sperm donor to be a surrogate father and step in as that male to be there.
Then I have a question now. Now, what if it is this male who is donating the sperm, right? That sperm donor. what if he is in a same-sex relationship as well? What will the dynamic? I am just asking in the event that, or they say, okay, we have, because they may have their circle, just as everybody have their circle, so they may have their circle, and they may decide that a male same-sex couple should be the one, as I said, being the male figure. So, Lion.
Again, when I talk about parenting, I'm talking about having a male, not a male who believes he's a female, not a male who thinks you need a male. You don't, because
a male who is a heterosexual.
You still getting a bias. You remember, then you're still shaping your child in a biased way. You can't get a man in your circle if he's not male, because you want a male to balance this. You
want a masculine male. A masculine male.
Yeah, straight male, straight female, as to help with the upbringing of the child. Right? Because then it would be a biased view all over again, because then it would be of a certain ilk. You know what I mean? But it's I mean, there's a lot of orphans that need, when they look at this scenario, and it's kind of sad. But society, again, we always try to put our views on that child. They're gonna put the views on the child, and it will. They would.
I'll say so uncomfortable. I wouldn't say weird, but uncomfortable, or
yeah. Because then the child would go. It will open the child to bullying when the child goes to regular school. It will open up the child to so much different outside influences that would now. The child might think that's normal, right, for mommy, and then when they go to school, it's like, what do I feel, mommy and daddy? Then the child goes back over, asks a question, and then, well...
there have been instances where people...
Children, there's kind of just some questions there.
No, it is true, because there have been instances, you'll see people saying that, their child went to school for either like the first time, maybe first grade, second grade, and happened to see a mommy and daddy, but when they watch, they have two daddies, and of course their friends will ask them like, how it is you have two daddies, like where is your mommy? So, and then child is confused and don't even know how to explain it. So it is true, you open the child up to possibilities of being confused themselves. Then they would not know what is what.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And of course, they are most likely to become victims of bullying, especially if it is the other children who, but as a matron are so cruel, right? So just by sometimes some children not having a daddy around, it just might be mommy, or it just might be daddy, they too are already bullied. So make it worse now for persons, children who have same-sex parents. So yes, that is a very valid point. It is a very valid point. I mean, children are bullied for so many different reasons. I can't even start counting. But yes, it is definitely one that can be avoided or should be avoided. And then sometimes those same-sex couples, they don't prepare the child for what they are going to meet out there. No, they don't really explain to them.
They completely shelter. They will shelter that child as much as possible. They will be in this bliss of like, finally, we are a complete family, and don't actually open a window to have this child look out and see, okay, we are in our bubble, but this is the real world when it is you go out there. So it will have the very few that will do that, the ones who are honestly realistic, and then it will have the love fairies and them. I don't mean it in no negative, but kind of like a negative way, but the ones who dream or constantly in dreamland fluttering around, they would not open that child to that reality whatsoever. They constantly have the world over their eyes.
Correct. That's true. That's true. That is true.
Very interesting that you see, and then the world changing now. They're implementing in some of the schools now where it's neutral sex bathrooms and to me it really skewing what is the line. Back in my days, this is the boys' toilet. This is
the boys. Especially when it comes to the transgender and even children growing up, some parents are very much open. So if it is a boy child, say, "Mommy, I want to be a girl," and he wants to go and use the girls' washroom, and he really has a penis, and it have that happening right now. And when they try and change and and it's like, what is going on? So it have parents who are open to it. They say, "Well, it's my child. I need to accept who my child believe they are, etc." Right? So it is really becoming a whole challenge. So anyway, I'm not even gonna bother ask you that question.
I'm sorry. The only way my boy child will use a female bathroom is if he is very young and we are out in public, and I myself or his father, whoever is not around, cannot take him to the bathroom. That is the only way he will be using a female bathroom.
Jizan, please if you're for same-sex adoption, if same-sex, please in the comment section. Look.
Yeah, well, we know this. We know when it is, the child is small and daddy not around, then the boy child go to the washroom with mom. That is like, right. But we're talking about when they're getting older. They are 8, 9. They are now 8, 9 years old, right? And they are trying on mommy's clothes. They like, well, we know color doesn't matter now, but let us say they really like all the pink and all the bright colors, and they want to do their nails and hair and all these different things in the makeup, everything.
Look what's going on here. Watch at this. You're outside.
Abby, we know you ain't coming from work. Where Lyman?
I may have to be in the 10 minutes. So I'm just going to take the
Alright. Yeah, we realize your main fan, your number one fan really didn't come on tonight, Maybe they will come on shortly as they hear that you see that you are here.
Okay.
Yes, your number one fan did not jump on at all, and Sonali. Her number one fan did not pop up. No time for tonight.
Yeah, they ghosted. They completely ghosted.
So the topic tonight is same-sex.
Yes, should same-sex couples be allowed to adopt children?
My input in that is I have same-sex couples, I guess. They have a right.
Well, yeah, they may have the right to. Yeah. So, Abby, where are you exactly? Are you driving or are you being driven?
I'm being chauffeured.
Well, let's see the chauffeur now. We can't see the chauffeur.
Can you see the chauffeur?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
It was man. I know, I thought it was a man.
Well, we have to see who you're rolling with there tonight, When it's out this time, right? Yeah. It's now past midnight. We have to make sure so that if it is here reach home, we know who we coming at. Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm on my way home now, so definitely be on tomorrow.
Good.
So we good in the mix.
Nice, I watch it going on, I watch it going on and things. Yeah.
This is Mandy people. This is girl Mandy.
Hi, Mandy. Wagwan.
Hi, Mandy.
The postman like, I see.
You know, you see, this, I tell him Chica the other day, I say, we go and tell them for a very long time, you know, because by the time they done feminize men in this world, you gotta look for soldiers. It's like, so, you can't ask a 7-year-old what you believe you are. You see, this is the reality. Whereby from the old school, forgive me, I still try to get within this whole vibration and hard, it's hard, and I mean all this, right? Believe is doubt. If I look at Abby, I say, Abby, are you a woman?
I definitely am a full
Exactly. No, listen. Now, if I ask Abby, are you a woman or do you believe you're a woman? So you see, there's my point.
Yeah.
Anytime you have to believe, that means you doubt it. Chica, are you a woman?
Yes, I am.
Exactly. You don't need belief because you know you are a woman. And anytime you have to use I believe so, that means it has doubt. Abby, are you in a car?
I am in a car. I don't believe I am in.
Exactly. Anytime, this is what we need to understand with this new vibration in this world, which is very, very saddening to be coming up from the old school, is that from the moment you have to use the word belief, there is doubt. And from the moment you start to use doubt from a child, that child cannot know anything. That child will just believe in whatever the environment decides it is. That's like somebody saying, I am good. I believe I'm good in Chica. I am good. So even if I grew up in a gangster city, because that was me, yeah? If I grew up in my environment, you know why? Because I had to have a program first. And then as I grow older, I put away belief and say, you know what? I am a good person. I am not going to be selling drugs. I am not going to be, because I live in a particular area, that does not mean that I have. You know what I can say? My belief circumstances, yes, so I just gonna be a drug dealer because that is what I go. From the moment people have belief as a sacred word, belief is doubting yourself. Your granny ever tell you, Abby, don't doubt yourself. Be sure. That is why I grew up on granny and grandpa and mommy. Do not doubt. No. Right? Know you're good. No, no matter what somebody tell you, know that is X. I don't know, I just asked it. That is why I believe and know it's doubt, because I believe in that. I can't believe I'm a man, I have to know I am a man.
Yeah. I really never thought about it that way. Once you have to use the word believe, that means
it's not that I have, say, person too gay straight. I have friends long time ago, long when it was taboo. Right? Long time. I'm not judging what you decide as an adult. Yeah? But what I'm saying is if we take away the knowing from the age of tender, we go on through. Because then they will know nothing and they will base everything on belief. When you have to believe, I believe she good enough. Anybody ever ask you about somebody? What about Jackie? I hear she's so. Well, girl, I believe she's so, or I believe she living in that street. You know why? Because it has
that means they're not sure. Yeah, yes.
It has some doubt. Belief. People use belief in religious connotations to make you big up Kenton, to make you think that this word believe is a sure thing. It's not. You get me today? You don't believe so. We is the 20-something, you know.
Yeah, say, yeah, man. I know the fear come true. Yeah.
The man come and tell you, well, I have no woman and this and that. And you come and tell, well, I believe that the man say, oh, you don't know for sure. Anytime you use this word that they beat in your head, believe. Oh, I believe it. Believe. Believe. The reason why I had to use the word believe is because there's some doubt in your mind. Rain falling, I believe so. It's supposed to be in the dry season, I believe so. We have a doubt because rain falling anytime and sun hot anytime. We cannot take away from growing minds certainties and knowing. We can't take away knowing. Because from the moment we take away knowing, I live for 300 years, I live for 1,000 years, because then it wouldn't have no males knowing anything about the masculinity. And listen, that will weaken our nation. Because when it's time for war, like what's going on in Ukraine, them guys or whoever standing up, giving their life, is because they know they're masculine. And they know they have to give their life for the country to protect the women. And it's only when you know you're a man and you know you have to put your life at risk. And she can't come out of a meeting and they're trying to feminize me because they say, like, I don't get involved when they see a woman in trouble. Because I know protocol. Imagine all you take that from a generation of male children. You take that away from a generation of male children, but now you're weak the whole country because you have no police, you have no soldiers. When it's time to stand, I had to know I was a man and I had to stand up to protect these women. Because I had to know, I can't believe, I ain't coming down against any personal. I want people to understand. I respect, I have plenty of friends who's gay and lesbian, so I ain't not attacking no denomination. I'm saying that if we take away 2 generations of men who know these men, that country or that civilization is going to crumble because it'll have nobody knowing I have to stand up. Nobody knowing how to give my life. Imagine you married a man who don't know he's a man, Abby. I want to think about the evil that this is. A man could even stand up in front of the woman because you don't know. That is what men do. We have to stop feminize our males because it have plenty away, you know. It have plenty man out there if you're watching ratio. So if we start to feminize men too much,
we done low on it already. We done low on man already. Yeah.
Nobody not saying, hey, this is what men do. If you know you're a man, you stand for women, you stand and you protect. You see an old lady under pressure, you stand up because there's a man. You want to say, I believe I'm a man, you know. That is doubt. And in situations when you need a man to be a man, he can't doubt himself. He can't believe he's a man. He has to know he's a man. Let's talk to me. I'm preaching today. Again, I am not against any denomination. But when it comes to rearing, you see, when people hear children, the only thing about family, when we rearing boy children, we're rearing the next soldiers, we're rearing the next protectors of the 4th generation coming. When we done playing in with tail, and we telling them what used to be, that means we have no protectors enough. So let me know if from now we're going and raise up. So when we're talking about adoption, and especially the male children coming up, if we put belief in them, so you are whatever you believe you are. Think about 3 generations of males we're going to do that to. I mean, what will happen to the population? What will happen to the country when people invaded? Let me say one of them crazy countryside boy we going and invade wherever this group of males is. Boy, them running over that country because no more men know these men anymore. You see, we could talk like this because peace in most of the countries. It don't have no war time in England or the United States or Chile, Caribbean. So we just, we dancing in the wind. But if you don't have two generations that know these men and they have to stand up and they have to sacrifice to protect the women and them, and they're just going on what they believe they are, that's the NI. That's the NI all here. That's the NI women, men, everybody. That's the NI the country.
Israelites.
I don't preach.
Like
Israelite. You say you look like you're dressed. You look like you're dressed to go somewhere.
At least you get it.
Tonight, boy.
Everything there. Everybody stepping out. Let me look the phone. I close it. I ain't putting on nothing. Chica, what you think? Tell me. Abi, tell me what your boy. Tell me.
Good night to everybody. Sorry for being late.
I don't know where you went.
Where she went is where she going.
Looking like I live or a carnival city. Let me know. You laughing? I know where all this shit they going on. All right.
I was trying to get Casa and Shalon. Casa working.
Okay, I know that. Chica, where's your view on what I just,
Yeah, I really actually never thought about that aspect where once it is used, you would believe there's some doubt, and it's really true. And if it is somebody have to say, and if it is, I never really look at it that way. And if it is,
Lisa, you hug up with your husband. You hug up with the man, Abby. We rock up, we wrap up, we drink something. We hug up, right? And some dude kicked down the door because you have to know that I am the man. In that particular instance, I can't believe I is the man. Because if I know I is the man, that means it's my guy. I had to get up and defend the house. When I decided to take out something on fire, when I had to take up a blade, when I had to do whatever I had to do, and that is so important for society. It's worth more than whatever biases all you have, Oh, Jesus. All you know it, All you. So, I tell you need a man to know he's a man. Oh, God, he can't believe he's a man.
That statement, I agree with that. You need a man to know that he's a man, same way as you need a woman to know that she's a woman. Because you wouldn't want in the scenario of that same thing as the way you say, you and your man hug up together like a damn roti, and another man busting, break down your door, and your man, he pissing and shitting himself there in the bed, or he looking to run and leave you there.
That is what we're growing up.
That
is in the males that we are growing up. If we allow this vibration to continue, because if we telling we sons, you are what you believe.
Wait, what is the topic tonight? Oh gosh, I didn't laugh now.
She can't tell she did. I can't take it. She can't tell
yes, me. The topic tonight is, should same-sex couples be allowed to adopt children?
Okay.
We cannot let two mummies who is lesbians, you see, because they grow up boys, because you see, the reality is, he needs to know he's a man, and he and all generations to protect the country in the event of situation, to safeguard the women, the lame, the disunfortunate, the disabled. Is the men who protect the country. And imagine you have a whole army that believe this woman.
I could say something. 80%
of your army going on belief. What all that dead?
Yes, Lisa, go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
You're talking about the same-sex adopt children, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with it because when Rojan was going to school in Jigasso government in first year, Rojan came home and told me, Mommy, my friend Ryan has 2 mommies, right? And he said to me, Mommy, how he could have 2 mommies? So I actually I couldn't answer at the moment, but it had like a class meeting for class party, right? And there I saw, but I didn't show no kind of what would I put
prejudice or
yeah, that right. And I talk and laugh at them, and to me they look happy together because they adopt the child from small baby too, right? And you saw the love with them, and I ended up making friends with them. And I ended up asking one of them, I said, like, why y'all choose this? They had a reason why one couldn't make, one had problems with making children. They was in and out of bad relationships, and they choose that way, and they are happy with bringing him up together. You know, so we are really good friends up to now. He is going presentation college, he's in Form 2 now, you know.
Okay.
So it was like we are really good friends. We are close friends up to today. You know? So when I told the topic, it was like, okay, I could agree to it, you know, but when you look at them, they love each other, they love the son, they everything.
Right.
So it was like a learning experience, and we always, like, if we have anything, like if we lime, I think the 3 of us lime together, nobody have to know they are like that, because they're normal, like you know, just human being. They come like my son is what just show Nickelodeon, right? Is Nickelodeon Loud House, this cartoon, and I watch it with them, and the dark guy who is Clyde, the little boy, right?
Yeah, he has 2 dads.
2 dads.
Yeah.
And I used to watch this show, Sonali and Chimika, right through, and I never pick up on it. It's Rojan who pick up on it. And Rojan godmother told me, yes, they are like that. You know?
Well, I picked up on it, honestly and truly. And to me, in my mind, it's like they're trying to acclimatize. They're trying to acclimatize the young children to know that, okay, if you go to school, you have a mommy and a daddy. Your friend might have 2 daddies or 2 mommies. To me, it's just a form of acclimatizing them.
And
so
they put it in like a cartoon thing so like the children could understand, you know?
The same thing with right now. Yeah. Same thing with Proud Family, the new Proud Family that they have right now.
Yes.
2 of the new characters, their parents are both males. So it's something, I honestly believe things like that, they are just really trying to desensitize the children coming up to something like
and
that.
The stigma, you know, so so I don't agree with it, because if I was in that position, I wasn't going to look down at anybody if they choose that they choose. Like what I said, like Rojan friend, 2 mommies, you know. I don't, because I asked them, I wasn't afraid to ask them why, you know, and today we are really good friends up to now.
Nice.
Right, so tomorrow night, you don't forget ladies' night. The topic is stay-at-home mom versus working mom.
Well,
That's
boy,
the topic for tomorrow night.
Going on beyond back. Stay
So that's the
home.
topic for tomorrow. Yes.
But
it'll be interesting. That's a nice topic.
Right?
Lisa laughing. Why Lisa have something to tell us? I find Lisa well giggling there. Eh? Who is that? I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, people, sympathy and empathy is one thing, but as a country, a civilization, you need strong men. And in Smexy tagline is don't think you are, know you are. So don't believe you're Smexy, know you're Smexy. That's why I coin it like that. Because your belief is though. When you know you're Smexy, it's a different than when you think. That's somebody saying, you think you're hot or you know you're hot. At least
I know I hot.
See the friend? So she can wrap it up there. We're gonna check on it, bro.
Like I will never forget the first time I met you and Shimika, like when we went on the hill. And I was like, Casa, they look so different because you seen them on the live and you see them on person. So I always thought Shimika is so tall. And you know.
And you think I was short? Really?
She didn't say that. She just thought I was tall.
I thought she was tall. And I thought she was tall.
Yeah.
But we know Sheldon, you know.
I'm not tall.
Sheldon looks like he's tall. You know, but
supposed to be though. Anyhow, we will deal with that tomorrow night. Chika can wrap it up there. Chika can close you up.
Alright, people. So it was nice. Yeah, it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody have their different views.
Lion,
you know, he explained what should be done.
Wait, two people missing from me.
Abby was right.
Abby was there just now.
Yeah.
Abby is on a run.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
Close it off. There we go.
Right, so we'll see you all tomorrow night for ladies' night. Stay-at-home mom versus working mom.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines? Are you tired of saying,
oh
snap, I forgot to top up at an inconvenient time? Here's what. Burn Team has got you and your loved ones covered.